Evening. The sun is shining once again in sunny Belfast. This is amazing. I'm standing with Craig, a friend from church, and Craig is an interesting guy. Craig is interested in badminton. I knew that. He's also a superb drummer, and he plays constantly. He's in a number of praise bands. But he's also into archery. Craig, this isn't just commonplace. So how did you get into archery?
Well, I had the opportunity to shoot a few arrows a few times during my youth. You find it's an activity that can sometimes be as part of a youth program with church or BB and stuff like that away for the weekend. So I had a chance to have a go at a few times then, and also like summer fairs and things. Clubs have archery demonstrations, so I had a bit of a go with that too. And I have an uncle who shoots, and as a child I shot with him as a young child, but hadn't shot for a long time. But always, anytime I did it, I enjoyed it and showed some aptitude for it. I wouldn't say a lot, but some aptitude for it. And then decided in 2013 I also played a bit of golf, and my golf wasn't bringing me a lot of joy at the time, unfortunately. It was more wayward. So I decided that I would try archery. So I enrolled on a beginner's course with a local club, and that was September, October of 2013, and here I am still shooting. So just
6 years.
Yeah, knocking on the door of 6 years now.
Right. Okay. So, local club. Where would I find a local club?
Well, there's two major archery bodies in Northern Ireland. You've got Archery NI, who are affiliated to Archery GB. Who are the UK-wide archery body, and you've a group called NIFA, the Northern Ireland Field Archery Association. So there are a number of clubs. I don't know how many, but something like 20 to 30 clubs all over Northern Ireland who are affiliated with one or other or both of those bodies. And so I joined Lisburn City Archery Club. Not surprisingly based in Lisburn. And they're affiliated to Archery NI and Archery GB. So
fully accredited?
They are, yeah.
Okay. So you went along and somebody mentored you, or?
Well, most archery clubs, if not all, run beginners courses from time to time. It's kind of mandatory as part of your club membership. And also to join Archery GB or a governing body, and then you're covered by their insurance when you're shooting, as long as you're doing it in a recognised shoot. So I had looked for a beginner's course, and it just so happened that Lisburn were running a course on a night that I was free to attend, and hence ended up there. So it was a 6-week course.
As short as that?
Yes. For an hour a night, an hour and a half a night, and. When you've completed that, I mean, all it teaches you is very basic shooting form and the safety aspects of shooting. You're then affiliated, and you join the club, and you buy some equipment, and then you get coached by your club on a regular basis. Then, depending on how you want to develop your shooting. So
they take you in and they coach you, so you're not solo, so to speak.
No, you're not. But it is dependent a little bit on you as a developing archer, how much coaching you're open to. If you just want to go and shoot, as long as you're doing it safely, they will allow you to. But if you want to develop your shooting style, then you talk to your
but that's the same.
Coaches.
That's the same in any. I mean, you're not going to develop unless you say in golf, you're not going to develop. You're just going to keep repeating the same mistakes. So coaching is a jolly good idea.
It is.
And so you're 6 years down the road. What stage are you at now? What can you show us? What kind of equipment are you using?
Yeah, well, I should maybe talk a little bit about bow styles. There are a number of different bow styles. The most basic of which would be English longbow or American flatbow, which is a curved wooden stick with a string on it.
Right. Now, this doesn't look anything like that.
No. The kind of bow I shoot is an Olympic recurve bow, so this is the style of bow that would be used in the Olympics. There's no aids on the bow in terms of either telescopic sights or mechanical devices. It is purely relying on the curvature and the strength of the limbs on the bow to propel the arrow. But you do have the advantage of a number of balances, weights, stabilizers, and I do have a single point sight which is movable for different distances.
But you said to me there a minute ago, you know, the basic starting off bow is an English long bow. Would that be right?
It wouldn't be a bow that most people start on.
Oh,
but
sorry.
It would be the most basic form of bow.
Right.
And you can go right up to the other scale to compound bows, which would have cams at the end of the limbs, which give you a mechanical propulsion as you let the bow go, and they do have the capability of putting telescopic sights and so on.
Right.
And in countries like the US and Canada, they would be used for hunting as well.
So what did you start off with?
I started on a very basic version of the recurve bow.
Of this here in front of us?
Yeah, not this particular bow.
No.
I've built it up over time.
Right, okay.
So the recurve discipline was probably the strongest in the club that I joined.
Right.
It appealed to me because I joined the club for a sporting outlet. I wanted to compete, and obviously with the recurve bow, the ultimate point you can get to with that is Olympic representation. Not that I am threatening that, but it's an option.
No, but if you haven't got a target to aim for, you're going to shoot at nothing.
That's correct.
You know, so that's commendable. That's commendable. Right. Where do we take it from here?
Well, I could give you a brief description of the bow.
Right. Lovely.
So as I said, it's an Olympic recurve bow. It's a win-and-win nano TFT with Uka VX1000 limbs. It's a fully carbon fibre bow.
So very, very light.
It's actually not as light as you would think, and lightness isn't necessarily an advantage.
Very strong then.
It's very stiff, and that allows the very stiff and very stable, which allows good propulsion of the arrows.
Right.
I've got a full stabilisation setup on the bow, so this helps to both balance the bow and deal with vibration out of the bow.
Right.
I have a sight with a movable sight block, which I can adjust for different distances, so I will know for a given distance where my sight block should be set from practice. So if I'm competing in an outdoor competition which can have distances up to 90 metres, I can adjust the sight block accordingly to the correct position.
Right, right.
It has a pressure button, which is this little device on here, which is a little sprung button,
right,
which helps to deal with the flex of the arrow once the arrow is released. And it has a clicker, which is a device that allows me to know exactly when I've drawn the arrow back to the correct length. When I hear that click, that's the time to release. Right. So it gives me a consistent draw length.
Right, lovely. And you know, where would I come across a bow like this in Belfast?
You wouldn't. If you were buying it, to be honest, this is pretty specialist kit, and there is one archery shop in Northern Ireland, but they wouldn't carry a stock of equipment up to this standard. So in today's world, it's all done by online retailers. Yeah.
Right.
Mostly in the UK mainland or in the States.
Right, right, right. And can I ask, you know, what kind of, you know, I'm not a rough.
Okay, you can. Price-wise, for a bow, you can go in entry level at about £200 sterling.
Right, that's entry. That'll get you there.
Yeah, that particular bow with all the stabilisation is worth about £1,800.
Right, right. So you lock it in the safe at night.
Yes.
Okay, right, lovely, lovely. Where do we want to go from here, or do you want to try it?
Well, I could demonstrate a shot.
Yes,
or two
lovely.
That's you will have to stand behind.
Oh, I will be standing. Don't you worry about it. I will be standing. I don't trust. Accidents can happen, you know.
Well, the light isn't particularly conducive to just shooting at the target, but we'll give this a go.
You're going to be blinded, would you? See, in a competition, would you not wear a pair of dark glasses?
I would generally wear sunglasses if I was looking straight into the sun, but if folks can help it, most fields will be set up with the light behind rather than the light.
Right, and the light unfortunately is slap bang in front of us tonight.
I can't turn my garden right. So I'm just put on a finger sling.
Finger sling, let's have a look at that. Where's that?
It's just a little strap.
Right.
And all it does is it retains the bow because I don't grip the bow.
So you don't hold it in your fingers?
No, I don't hold it in my fingers. I'll draw an arrow and show you what I mean by that.
This is very, very high. This is like something out of James Bond.
Okay, the other piece I'm going to use is a finger tab, and it's just a little leather tab for gripping the string, and it's basically to save your fingers and to give a nice smooth surface to release off.
So if you weren't wearing that, you might take skin off?
I don't know.
If you were a novice or what?
I would be working up calluses very quickly.
Right, okay.
So the whole point of the finger sling is to allow me to grip the bow, and whenever I draw it, the weight of the bow is holding it in my hand. My fingers are free.
Right.
So whenever I release the arrow, the bow will spring forward and the finger sling will catch it. And the whole point of that is if I grip the bow, I start to tense the muscles in this arm.
Right.
And you want the muscles to be as relaxed as possible.
Right.
If you put tension in, when you release it, that tension will torque the bow as you release.
Right. Now, should I aim the camera at you, or should I aim the camera?
No, aim it at me. Don't go where I shoot, in case this is the first shot I've shot tonight. So normally you would have a few warm-up ends.
Right. It's the same as anything, the warm-up.
So we're shooting at about 10 metres. I've got two different sets of target up there. I've got a 40 centimetre full face and a 40 centimetre triple spot. So I'm just going to aim at the 40 centimetre full.
I'll just video the targets you have here for a second. So what did you say those were?
The right hand one is a 40 centimetre target, so it's 40 centimetres from the centre of the target to the last ring on the paper. So
right.
10 scoring zones on it.
Right.
10 in the very centre gold target through to 1 on the very last white target.
So that's the right hand one.
That's the right hand one.
And the other ones, what are they?
The left hand one is exactly the same size, but it's missing the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 ring.
Right.
And those are for indoor competitions. If at short distances, when you're shooting multiple arrows into a target, people can start clattering their own arrow.
Right.
So the benefit of that is you can put 3 arrows, 1, 2, 3, into the 3 targets.
Which of those would be used in a competition?
Both of them.
Both of them?
Depending on the competition.
Oh, right. Right, okay.
Typically, for my style of bow, I would be shooting at the triple spot competition indoors at a range of 20 yards or 18 metres.
That would be competition standard, 20 yards?
Yeah.
Right. When would you ever go to, further distances than that?
That would be outdoors. And
an outdoor competition?
Outdoor competition, bigger targets.
So you're saying that most competitions take place indoors?
No, there's a mixture of both indoor and outdoor, but they're different target sizes and styles depending on whether it's an indoor or an outdoor competition.
Right, okay.
Okay?
Right.
So I'm just going to draw the bow up and release one arrow into the target, okay?
Okay. There's a lot of power in behind that.
The bow, there's about 41 pounds force on my fingers at the point of release. So that would be, what, about 18 or 19 kilos that you're holding on the bow at the point that you release the arrow.
I mean, that hit that a right whack.
Arrow speeds are usually something like 200 to 210 feet per second.
So, I'm thinking, and I'm not trying to be melodramatic or anything like that, but you get on the wrong side of one of these, damage is going to happen.
Oh, you could kill someone if you hit them in the right place with an arrow, certainly. So that's why So much of the early basic training in archery is knowing how to do it safely.
On health and safety. Absolutely.
Not holding a loaded bow anywhere other than pointing at the range and making sure that everybody is behind the shooting line.
So tell me about these competitions. You've been at this for 6 years. At what stage did you enter your first competition?
I finished my beginner's course in October of 2013 and I entered my first competition in November of 2013.
You weren't hanging about?
No, our club hosted a competition and everyone was encouraged to enter, and there was like a beginner's kind of standard.
Right.
So I entered it. Didn't win it, but I enjoyed competing in it.
Yeah, you see, the mere mention of there's a competition on, and my nerves would kick in. So were you're not nervous?
Yeah, nervous.
It's good.
You're going to embarrass yourself.
Exactly.
Those nerves are good for driving a bit of adrenaline into your system.
Right.
The problem would be that if you go the other extreme and if you go into the psychology of it, you'd hear people talk about target panic, where they draw the arrow back in their head so full of thoughts about, is it going to go the right way? Am I drawing this right or whatever, that they can't shoot properly. So even the top shooters would have psychological help, for dealing with the nerves in big competitions. Outdoor
competition, how do you deal with wind,
Well, there's certain levels of wind that would make an outdoor competition impossible.
Right.
So if it's too windy, if it's gale force, for example, it's highly unlikely the competition would go.
Right.
But I do have a degree of adjustment on my site.
Yeah, you see, I'm thinking the same thing for someone who is into sniping. Yeah.
So
you can adjust.
I can adjust my sight right and left if the arrows are being blown one direction or the other.
Right.
The other thing is that you optimize your arrows for outdoor competitions.
You optimize your arrows.
Okay, so my outdoor arrows are very thin.
Right.
And they've very, very small fletchings on them.
Right.
And they're helical fletchings. They're spin wings.
Right.
So they cause the arrow to rotate in flight.
Right.
And in so doing, they help it to hold its line over longer distances.
So if it was windier conditions, you would alter the...
No, I don't adjust the arrow. The arrow is optimized for particularly windy conditions, but you shoot it in all conditions. But indoors, I have big fat arrows with feather fletchings on them, because there's no wind issue. They won't be blown off course.
Okay. Yes, right. My goodness, you've covered quite a bit. Do you want to shoot off another one there, and we'll call it quits, or have I covered everything, or?
Oh well, I would say as a sport we've only scratched the surface, and if people are intrigued or interested, then I would encourage them to seek out the national body for the sport in their country. So
where would you meet in Lisburn?
We meet at the Lagan Valley Leisureplex during the winter, and we meet at Lisnagarvey High School playing fields in the summer.
So if somebody was interested, they just ring up the leisure centre?
Well, they could do that, or they can find us on Facebook. Search for Lisburn Archery Club on Facebook, and they can message us there, or if they go to the Archery NI website, they will find all the clubs listed there and contact details.
And you really enjoy this?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what's not to like about firing arrows into things? It's actually quite
satisfying.
Yeah, can be. There are nights where you don't shoot well and you come home thinking that why did you ever take this sport up? But it's quite therapeutic, I think.
Right. And how have you done in competition standards?
Oh well, now it turns out that Northern Ireland is home to Archery GB's top ranking Olympian.
So that puts everybody in the shade.
I have shot with Patrick Houston on 3 or 4 occasions.
Okay, have that. Oh dear.
The sport is small enough locally that the very top shooters will shoot with the rest of us.
That's very good of them, you know, because sometimes in sport people can be very much prima donnas.
Well, that might be true in some sports, but not in archery.
That's so good to hear.
I'm quite a wee bit off Patrick's score. I have a few medals hanging at the end of my bed, but nothing of any major consequence.
But you didn't embarrass yourself with him.
No, I haven't yet.
And he, I presume, would be quite encouraging.
Patrick's very, very good. He's very supportive of the sport locally.
Right. He wants to bring it on. So,
he does, absolutely.
So nobody's going to put you down for a few duff shots.
Not. He's actually very good at giving technical advice.
Right.
And he has quite a number of instructional videos on
Right.
YouTube.
Right, okay.
So if you're interested in seeing somebody who really can shoot, have a look for Patrick's
okay.
stuff.
Right. We're gonna see you again. That was okay. That was okay. I don't think you could really. I don't think you could better that.
Oh, I don't know. I think they're nestling in the 9 ring there, but
they're in the yellow. That looks good to me. Looks good to me.
At 10 metres, this is kind of half the distance of an indoor shoot, so they should be going pretty close to the middle of the target.
Very good. Wonderful, Craig. Thank you very much for indulging an early idiot like me.
You're very welcome.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.